we are focusing on the black community as if the problem exists only in the black community. The argument that I am making is that the problem does not exist in the black community.
The problem
exists. The problem of being light-skinned and the advantages of being a light-skinned person comes from the larger society. Mm-hmm. The larger society says to us that if you're going to make it, if you're going to be successful, if you're going to become a politician, a successful politician, then these are the keys.
All right, let's get
let me respond to that, if I may, just for a second.
Well, I had somebody lighter than you who wants to respond here. Go ahead. I'll go right to you, but let's hear from you again.
I just want to say that while there are many benefits to being light-skinned, I have experienced a lot of downfalls, too. That,
within the black community?
Yeah, within the black community, that while I think the majority of black men that I know have a preference much more for light-skinned black women than they do for dark-skinned black women, but that I also feel that I've experienced a lot of negative aspects of it because many black men only like me because of my light skin and my good hair and my white features and not for who I am. So in many ways it becomes a hindrance because they don't like me for who I am, they like me because of the way I look. And because it's almost like a social status for many black men to be with light-skinned women.
All right. No, I wanted to go to this because we were talking about a woman. Excuse me for interrupting, but go ahead.
No, the point that I would make is, since you were interested in that particular insight, is to make this observation. Surely, as black people, our hearts go out to anyone who has ever suffered anything in terms of discrimination. We've experienced too much of it to be cold to the sufferings of anyone else, white, black, yellow, what have you. But I think the thing to understand here is that whatever personal disadvantages being light-skinned have brought you, they are enormously minuscule in proportion to the whole panacea of opportunities that are made available to you. That is not your fault. You did not do that. I agree with this gentleman in that respect. But at the same time, there's a very vested interest, if you benefit from that condition, for you to either, one, sort of just sit on the sidelines and do nothing about it, or two, as we see in so many light-skinned black organizations, to actually get in there and work for the master because you did not create the situation, but you do benefit from it. Mm-hmm. The second thing I'd like to say is I would like to, as you said, agree and disagree with you in this respect. As I said, you are as you sit here. We, as we sit here, are slaves. That is the most prominent feature in black reality. We did not create this discrimination among us. I agree with you in that regard. But I disagree in that it is within our control to stop it. If you believe that you can wait for the European society to come into our community to make anything better, then may I suggest you are in for a long wait. And the third point I would like to make in response to this lady up here. The problem that you highlight in terms of the image that children have of themselves even goes further. I think this is fascinating. I think you began a very exciting point here. Let's say that you're 12 years old and you are jet black. And of course, if you read Jet magazine and you look at the advertisements in there, we don't really mean jet black. If you are a black youngster and you start to, for instance, go through all the popular magazines, you won't see any black people in there. Fascinating thing, when you talk about magazines. Let's talk about Time magazine. You have that ad that we finally got after all of the campaigns in the 60s. We finally got Time magazine or Newsweek to stop their bigoted ads and actually include black people. So you have like everybody's lounging around in this ad doing dungarees ads, and you have the white kid there, and of course the white kid has perfectly blonde eyes and blue hair. I mean, and all white people don't look like that, but he's the model, he's the epitome of white people.
Right.
You have the Chinese kid there. He looks like he descended directly from the Ming Dynasty, didn't even stop at customs. Then you have this other youngster here who is obviously white with a little bit of black blood in him. And if you are this 12-year-old black youngster, you look at Time and you say, where am I? I don't exist. 400 years after we got here, 100 years after the Civil War, a good 20 years after the Black is Beautiful, that black child is still Ralph Ellison's Invisible Man. If he looks into Ebony magazine, if he looks into any of the black publications, it's worse. It's the same white person who has a tiny little bit of black blood in him. So he sees himself nowhere, and he has a built-in vested He has built-in sense of discrimination against himself. I'm not anywhere. I'm no good. I'm lesser. I should become more white.
And it continues, and hence, in what you've just described to us, we can understand some of the nature of the prejudice that can exist in that little boy's head, potentially.
Well, I'm agreeing with this gentleman in that you understand that kid is being victimized, first of all, by the larger European culture, and then those among us who are half white exist as a Trojan horse within the black community, perpetuating this. Everywhere he sees...
I have to take a break, Edward. We got a lot of points that want to be made here, and we'll be back and continue to take some phone calls right after this. We'll be right back.
You may be passing for white, baby, but you ain't invisible.
Woman attempting to pass there. There's so many different places we can jump in. I want to get back into the hair point. What is this thing with so-called good hair?
Actually, bad hair. Here's the
what? That's what. Wait, no, wait. Well, let me hear from the ones over here with the hair. You're making quite a hair statement yourself, right?
Actually, I'm not. This is what all of their hair looks like if they did not spend hours in the parlor.
Wait a second. It takes a long time to make your hair like that too. Yeah. What's good hair? What's bad hair? And why the term good and bad?
Well, the straighter the better, so to say.
Is that what you think?
No, I don't think so personally.
Why
but
not?
That's what we've been programmed to think by the white people, by the Europeans.
Well, what does Essence Magazine say about this?
So why are we buying it? Why are we still carrying it on? I mean, when were we programmed? Was it programmed in 1890? Was it programmed in 1920? Why are we still carrying that around?
Hair points right over here.
In fact, gives you all kinds of hair and all kinds of hairstyles, all kinds of looks.
I don't agree that Essence Magazine truly reflects the diversity in the black community. I really think that it does portray a more European image of black women in that magazine. You don't
why do
find,
you say that?
Why do I? Because I read it every month because it's for today's black women.
What do you see on our pages that makes you say that consistently?
Pictures of black women. Yes, you do get a variety of colors, but they tend more towards the European features as opposed to the African features.
Well, you have fairly European features yourself.
Not my fault, you know.
No, it's fun.
But I'm saying she also recognizes that her future, she cannot join the white race. That the white race will never accept her for whoever she is until she and we accept black people as being something positive. And I think also this point, going back to my analogy about the multiracial ad with the white person and the Chinese person, the white person is a model of whiteness. You don't think all these people look like white models. The thing is, when you get to the black person is not a model of blackness, it's a model of either half blackness or of whiteness with a little bit of blackness in it. The models that are white models have perfect blue eyes, perfect blonde hair. The models that are black, if you are going to join the black race, should be pitch black.
All right, no, we got everybody here has an opinion here. Go ahead.
I think the bottom line issue we're dealing with is inferiority of the black race. We have been conditioned and taught to hate ourselves. We see it in our skin color. We see it in what we try to do with our hair. We see it in the contact lenses. You see a very dark-skinned person wearing light blue or light with blue eyes because they're contact lenses.
Right.
You see black people getting their hair straightened. You see black people wanting to be lighter. And what you have here is you have light-skinned blacks and dark-skinned blacks, and the light-skinned blacks are thinking they're better than the dark-skinned blacks. That must mean that they don't think they're as good as white people. And that's the bottom line.
I'd like to respond.
Excellent point. Excellent point.